True achievement lies beyond the edge of your comfort zone. Take the leap and see just how far you can go. This is the mentality that I've been trying to adopt recently. After running my first half marathon in February, I knew I wanted to push myself further and run a full marathon. So I messaged my good friend Arist, who is a keen runner with medals of Paris and Valencia marathon under his name, and I asked him what would be a good time for me to aim for in this marathon, and he gave me the goal of a sub 4 hour time. So, welcome to episode 1 of me documenting my training journey. Hello, I am at the beach and the plan is I'm going to try and run 10 kilometers today, and I want to try and do it sub 50 minutes, so below a 5-minute pace overall, which hopefully I should attain. I have been running kind of over the month or so consistently, maybe once or twice a week, but today is going to be the first time I'm running with the marathon in mind, trying to kind of just get a really solid time for this 10k, see where I'm at, and I will probably do maybe a few episodes of this kind of marathon series leading up to the marathon. The marathon is still quite a while away, so I have a long time to train. So I think it'll be nice to kind of see, even for myself, just how I progress over time and see how it goes. So like I said, the plan is a sub 50-minute 10k. So I think it is doable. The weather's nice, I'm at the beach, it's always nice to run here. One of the reasons I really wanted to do this marathon is because I do feel like with running, it's one of the mentally tougher things that I've done. I feel like when I ran my half marathon, physically, I wasn't too bad. I was kind of fine going through it, but mentally there were so many points I wanted to give up. And so that's why a whole marathon is be good to push myself mentally and try and build a better mentality in terms of not giving up, keep going, all that stuff. So that is the plan. Hopefully it goes well. So without further ado, let's get into the run. Like I said, hopefully it goes swimmingly, hopefully I get a good time. It's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna try and get out there and get it done. So 10 kilometers, sub 50-minute pace. Here we come. So far, I'm quite happy with how the run's going. I'm keeping a decent pace. I'm kind of in control with my breathing, steady rhythm, and it's not going too bad. Only thing is, the wind is coming against me, which is not ideal, but so far it's been fine. I am about halfway through the run, maybe just a bit under, maybe like 4k through. I'm tired, man. The wind's going against me. It's very busy on the beach because it's a hot day. I've only got a few kilometers left now, but I'm really feeling it. As you can tell by the heavy breathing, it's very hot today as well, and so it's been a tough run so far. I'm just hoping I can finish it out sub 50. I finished my run. I ran a 10k. It took me 49:25, I think. However, for some reason when I logged it on Strava, it said 9.99, even though I stopped it like a couple of seconds after it said 10k on the screen. But I'm happy. I got what I wanted to, and I'll get an official Strava PB for 10k another day. So I'll put my splits up on the screen. You can see them here. We'll look at cooldown, and then I'll give a more kind of in-depth thing about the run once I've done that. Hello, today we are not at the beach, we are in the hills because we are doing some hill sprints today. So I will touch on that in a moment, but before I get into that, we're going to go over last run and talk about kind of how it went. So obviously I said there was the error with the distance, Strava didn't log correctly. One of my good friends told me how to correct that GPS error, that's all sorted. The 10k PB is mine. So I managed to get the sub 50, which I'm really happy with. I'll put my splits on the screen now, and as you can see, kind of the first 4 were quite good, quite consistent. The first one was a lot faster, but that is because there was -10 elevation, so running a little bit downhill made it a bit easier. And the issues arose kind of 6 onwards, especially 7, 8 and 9. So the main problem I found was that I kind of lost control of my breathing. My rhythm was very constant, very steady for the first half of the run. Second half, I started breathing through my mouth as opposed to kind of deep breaths in and out through my nose, and this obviously did not help. And so I kind of lost control of that, and that is something I need to work on, just making sure I keep my breathing constant throughout the whole run. But I do think that will come with once I build up my endurance a bit more, because I do think I was struggling a bit, and so second half I started breathing through my mouth because I thought that would help. It didn't. I ended up getting a slight stitch, I remember, and so that's not ideal. So the big takeaway from the second half of the run in terms of breathing is trying to keep it under control, steady, deep breaths in, out, through your nose the whole time. Just try and keep that going. And another thing that I found I wasn't so happy with this 10-kilometer run was I feel like I didn't give it 100% the whole duration of the run. I feel like there were certain kilometers, in particular 7, 8 and 9, where I could have run faster. I could have kept my pace closer to 5 minutes, if not even sub 5 for those 3. And that's one thing I want to touch on right now before we talk about the hill sprints, is making sure you give it 100% all the time. And this isn't just about running, this is more for anything you do in life, whatever it may be, whatever task, activity, whatever you're doing, always make sure to give it 100%. Always give it everything you've got. And if you find yourself not giving something 100%, then I think it's important to take a step back, think about it, and try and figure out why you're not giving it 100%. You might be tired, you might have something else on your mind, which is why you're constantly thinking about that and not giving the task at hand all of your efforts. It might not be the right time for you to tackle this task. You know, it might be better if you do it in a different order, do something else first. I think it's really important to figure out why you're not giving something 100% effort. Because if you truly want to be the best version of yourself, it's important that whatever you do in life, always give it 100% of your efforts. Always give it everything you've got. Because even if it doesn't work out, if whatever you're trying to do, whatever goal you're trying to tackle, task you're trying to do, if it doesn't go to plan, at least you know you gave it everything you've got. If it doesn't go to plan and you only gave it 50% of your efforts, you're always going to have that feeling that I could have done more, but I simply didn't. So it's important to identify why you're not giving it 100%. Once you have the why, it's very easy to figure out the how. You know, the reason why I'm not completing this to the best of my abilities is because I'm quite tired. How do I remove this hindrance? I'm going to go rest for a bit, take a step back, give myself time to get more of my energy back, and then I'll tackle this task again. If you ask yourself another time, why am I not doing this to the best of my abilities? Oh, it's because I've got this other thing on my mind that I'm constantly thinking about and I can't give the task at hand my full concentration. Take a step back, figure out the how. How am I going to remove this hindrance? I'm going to go sort out whatever is on my mind. And I know it is easier said than done, but it's something I wanted to touch on because especially with running, I find it's always there. There are often runs where I feel like I could have given it more, but I didn't. And to be honest, a lot of the time it is just because mentally I give up before I do physically when I'm running, and so I end up not giving it all I had. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I think it is a very important thing to talk about. Whatever you do in life, always just try and give it your all. Give it 100%, and everything else will fall into place. But enough about that. Hey, like I said, we're going to be doing hill sprints. So after I finish kind of filming this and recording this, I'm going to walk over to the hill, base of the hill, and start the run. I will log it on Strava and talk about it a bit afterwards, put my splits on the screen, show the pace, the elevation, all of that stuff. But the current plan is I'm going to try and do 10 hill sprints and then just use the walk down as the rest in between. It is quite a steep hill and it is quite big as well, so it's going to be quite tough. I'm not sure how my fitness level is going to cope with this. I haven't really done these before. One of the reasons I wanted to do hill sprints is because despite it probably not being the most efficient way of training for a marathon, I think it's going to be quite fun, and I think it's important when you're training in particular to train in a way that you find fun and a way that you get enjoyment out of, because if you enjoy the way you train, you're more likely to stick with it, you're more likely to do it consistently, and therefore you're more likely to achieve the goal that you have in mind. That being said, it is important to push yourself out of your comfort zone, try new things, train in ways that maybe you're not too keen on, simply because it helps build your discipline, and often The reason we don't like training in a certain way is because it's tougher, and sometimes tougher training is going to yield better results and therefore in the long run be better for you. But today I'm doing these hill sprints mainly because I think it'll be fun. I want to try them out, and I think it's important, like I said, train in the way you find fun, you're more likely to stick with it. So without further ado, we're going to head on over to the hill and start the hill sprints. Let's go. So I'm going to run up this hill all the way to the top. It loops around the corner of it and it's a bit more elevation at the end. I'll be honest, I'm already a little bit tired just from the walk here. It's because it's quite a hot day, as you can see. So I don't know how this is going to be. Hopefully it goes well. I'm aiming for 10. I hope that materializes. It might be a lot more than I thought it would be, but it's good. Set your aim, set your goals high, set your targets high, because then even if worst case scenario you don't reach your target, you've still done very well. So the aim is 10. I'm going to go for it very shortly, and then I will talk a bit about it at the end. Okay, I have done 5. I'm halfway through. I'm just walking back down the hill now. It's a big hill and I'm struggling, to be honest. This is probably one of the toughest things I've done recently in terms of physical activity. Compared to flat running, this is a lot harder. These runs kind of start as hill sprints, and then, you know, somewhere along the way they kind of turn into hill jogs, and towards the end more of a hill walk because I'm really feeling it. But halfway there, 5 more, and I will see you guys when I've done 10. Okay, I've run into a slight issue. I've done 7, I have 3 left. However, if you can see, all of the bulls are slowly migrating this way, and there's a big hole in this fence where I'm starting my hill sprints from. I know for a fact the bulls do come up this path, or at least where I'm doing hill sprints. So I might have to head back, because at first there was just one, but now you can see they're all slowly coming over to these fields. So I don't want my way back to get blocked off by them, because I have been charged at by one of them a couple of years ago, and it was not the nicest experience. It was very scary. It was not very pleasant. It was not fun at all. So before they all come here, because right now I can see about 6 or 7, I'm slowly going to run back. I wanted to get 10, but my main worry is that these guys are just going to all swarm this way. So I am going to end this hill run here, get back home, and then tomorrow, once I've thought a bit more about how this went, looked at the actual Strava splits, the pace, all that kind of stuff, then I will talk a bit more about that. But for now, I'm gonna head back home because these guys are all making their way over. So I think I did the right thing, because as you can see, there's now about 20 bulls and cows, and they're all crowded around that small gate, which was my starting point. So I think that I made the right move leaving when I did. Obviously, it's not ideal that I couldn't finish all 10, but nonetheless, it was very tough. I'll put kind of the Strava summary here on one side, and I will put the elevation on the screen as well. You can see the graph goes up, down, up, down, up, down. As you can see, each one was about 30 meters total uphill, and also walk down. There were a couple which you can see were a bit less than 30. That is because I starting a bit away from the gate, because the bulls started coming over. Initially there was just 1 or 2 after the first couple of hill sprints, and then after that they're slowly all started migrating over. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk back now. I'm happy with how that went. Like I said, not ideal that I couldn't finish all 10, but it happens, and I think I made the right call. It's better to be sensible in these situations. Keep yourself out of any harm's way, because you know they're nice animals and all, but if you are a bit too close or startle them, they can kind of just run at you. Tomorrow I will touch a bit more on how the hill sprints went in general, and also just a bit more about how my training for the marathon is going in general, kind of how I'm feeling about building my endurance, the goal for what I want to run the marathon in, and how attainable it is, how much I think I can kind of achieve in this next kind of few months. I've got quite a lot in the next 9 months or so of training. It'll be good to see how my progress develops and how my speed and endurance stamina all increase, hopefully. So I'll touch on that tomorrow. For now, goodbye. I will see you guys in a bit. But before I go, all the cows are following me. This is the same path that I'm on. It just comes around here and goes down here. So I am actually going to run home because there's loads of them and they are all following the exact path that I'm going on. So, goodbye. We are back at the beach, and so we'll talk a bit about the hill sprints initially. I'm holding the microphone a bit close to my face instead of clipping on because it's quite windy today, so I want to make sure you guys can hear this. So the hill sprints were good. They, like I said, probably weren't the most efficient way of training. There are probably better ways of doing it, but you know, for now I'm just trying to build my endurance and build my kind of general fitness, so I wanted to do it a way that's a bit different. And I enjoyed them because they were quite challenging. It was very tough mentally and physically to keep pushing myself, sprint the whole way up the hill, but I enjoyed the challenge, and so I probably will do them again at some point, maybe a few times, at least before the end of summer. Obviously next time I will try and plan a bit better in the sense of running not when the cows and bulls are in the same field, or even running at a different hill, just to make sure that I can complete the goal that I want to achieve. So that's kind of all that for hill sprints. I touched a bit on it when I actually did it at the run, so there's not much more to talk about. With regards to what is kind of in store for me now after this kind of video ends, this episode ends, I'm just going to continue for now trying to build my endurance, build my stamina, and just get fitter so that I can eventually start working towards a goal of actually getting a sub 4 hour marathon time. My plan is by the end of this month going to run another half marathon so that I can see where I'm at when it comes to long distance. I'm going to try and run that as far kind of below 2 hours as I can. You try and really push myself, see where I am, so that hopefully I'm in a good place. And then obviously within the next few months I will start kind of marathon specific training, a proper kind of training regime, training plan, so that I can tackle the marathon and get, you know, as far below sub 4 hours come the marathon day. So one final thing I want to talk about before I finish this video is kind of sticking to plans that you've made and deadlines that you've set for yourself. I feel like, so for example with regards to running, if you say you're going to run on this day, you're going to run this much, when that day comes, go run that much, run on that day. Because if you miss the deadlines that you've set for yourself, then what will end up happening is you'll become a bit more comfortable with missing those deadlines. Let's say you're meant to run 10 kilometers on Thursday and 5 kilometers on Sunday. If you then miss that Thursday, you'll be more inclined to miss the run on Sunday as well, because what happens is it's easy to get comfortable with missing those deadlines. You think, okay, I've missed this one, I might as well miss the next one, I can push it all back to next week. So that's why when you set deadlines, this is what I found for myself anyway. It might not be relevant to everyone, but I think it will help just touching on it. Because if you do keep on just putting things off because you get, you know, a bit cozy with the feeling of pushing things forward, then your end goal is just gonna suffer. You know, you're not going to achieve the goal you want, or you're not going to achieve the goal at the highest level that you want. So when you set a deadline, for example, when I set my deadlines for uploading a YouTube video on Sunday or Monday, I try and do, I found there was a point where I was uploading, I think I uploaded for 6 weeks in a row, and then I missed the Monday, and I got very comfortable. I thought, okay, if I've missed 1 week, I might as well, you know, what's missing it another week? And it becomes that kind of mindset that you think it's okay, you know, nothing's bad happened to me by missing the deadline, it's okay for me to miss it.
Obviously it's okay to take breaks, but if you set yourself a task, you set yourself a goal, you want to do it on a certain day, go get it done on that day before you get too comfortable with the idea of not achieving your goals and not doing things. All that will happen is your discipline will break down. You will find yourself missing your deadlines more and more, and the gap between tasks that you want to do getting bigger and bigger, the breaks you take being longer and longer. And so that's why, if you have a plan, you set goals, deadlines for yourself, go achieve them on the days that you want to, go achieve them with 100% of the effort, give it everything you got, and then everything else will fall into place. Now, that's everything I want to touch on. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I might try and upload one of these kind of episodes, training for marathon, maybe once a month or so for the next however many months it is to my marathon, just so I can, see how I improve, document the journey, and hopefully that'll be good. For now, I'm going to go on another run, just a small one, and I will see you guys in the next video, so take care and goodbye. I hope you have enjoyed.